this on the basis of three issues. First is why does India want this cooperation? Second, what is in it for the United States? And the third is what is in it for non-proliferation concerns? And the last, of course, is answer my friend George. I've been doing it all along. I'll continue to do that. The first is the Indian production is fairly large. Today it's about 125 gigawatts, fairly impressive. But the denominator is very depressing, about 1 billion people. So when you start doing it, the per capita consumption of electric power today in India is about 500 kilowatt hour per year. Compare this with China, which was there about 10 years back on the same boat. Today China is between 1300 to 1500 kilowatt hour, depending on whose statistics you believe. I shall not mention the United States, it's almost vulgar, 11,000 kilowatt hour.
Why do you say almost?
If I want to go at least about 8% growth rate, this will, if I work hard, and I also bring in an elasticity of 1, that is for every 1% GNP, I will have 1% growth rate, 1% increase in electric power. I will be about, I will have to double the capacity in about 10 years, about 250 gigawatts. So that means that I have to talk about 25 gigawatt, 125 exists before, so 125 gigawatt in 10 years. So I have to set up 1,000 megawatt every month. First, we must have ministers to inaugurate the plants. And the second is, I think we ought to be having some kind of an energy options. Today, the energy option in India is largely coal. We talk about 60% coal. Unfortunately, coal has problems in India. It's a very dirty material in India because the ash content is about 40%, 25 to 40%, depending on whom you believe. But if you transport, and we transport it all about 600 kilometers and above, because most of the coal is located in the East India. Not the best of the stable states, but at least they mine coal. And the hydel power is about 30%. Nuclear is about 3%. And the gas, natural gas and the fuel oil and so on running about 20%. So if I want to go to 125, I have three options. One is go for coal again. That means I will be using about 520 million tons of coal, 580 million tons of coal, which I think we cannot be producing at that level because it's still not so much a deep mining or surface mining. And we'll be belching the world with carbon dioxide, CO2, and also the slag that comes in a big way. Is that an option that India should pursue? And the second option is perhaps go for natural gas, either pipeline or LNG. There are a number of countries with natural gas, Turkmenistan, Qatar, Oman, Iran, Myanmar, Pakistan. I think it's going to be very impressive that you can go for the natural gas. But until the pipeline gets built, until the LNG things come in, we have a problem. We have a problem because if we start using natural gas, I think what is this number that's been mentioned? Your heating bill is going to increase by $900 for the winter this year, right? It will be $2,000 per winter. Do you want that kind of, the equivalent if you work it out in fossil fuel, we are talking about $100 per barrel. Automatically, if India decides to go on the gas, and if the China also goes on the gas, the cars will come to a stop in many countries, at least in our countries. So what leaves us with an option is a nuclear energy. Unfortunately, in the Indian nuclear problem is mainly because of our resources. Our resources are about 60,000 tons of uranium. So if I use all the reactors today and we can produce only about 10,000 megawatts, at present we are about 3,000 megawatts. So these 10,000 megawatts we can do it at 40 years. And what options have I got? I got an option. I got an option because we are using the thermal reactors. Thermal reactors produce plutonium. George considers them as bomb material. I consider them the only future energy materials because if you can calculate the megawatt days per ton for plutonium versus the uranium, we are talking about 1,000 times more, it has more energy than this. How can we go around saying just because I am afraid of the bomb, you have to throw the plutonium as a bomb? I would say there is a fast breeder reactor. That is, we start, for instance, I'll give you this, the reactor that's just